Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge Al-Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is Shabai from the GMS Denver camp, breaking down Romans to the 12th chapter. So, the word beseech, it means to urge. So Paul's urging us to make our bodies a living sacrifice, which this is holy, which that word holy, we always tell you, it means separate. Because not everybody's doing this. Not everybody's going out in the street corners, teaching the scriptures, and making our bodies a living sacrifice. And it's reasonable service, meaning we're able to do this. It's reasonable, right? You have two legs, you have a mouth, you have Bibles. It's reasonable. It's within our means. We can do this, right? Brothers have vehicles to get us to the camps, and if brothers' cars break down or whatever the case may be, guess what? Other brothers will step up and take those brothers to the camp. So this is reasonable service, all right? Verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. So that's what it is. We're not conformed to this world, okay? Let me grab that word conformed real quick. Actually, I'll go ahead and grab it right out of the blue letter. Romans 12:2. Let's get that word conformed. All right. It says to conform oneself, example, one's mind and character to another's pattern. Fashion oneself according to. So we don't fashion ourselves according to the world, right? And if you do, then you're really not in this ministry. If you're moving like everybody else in this world, are you really in this ministry? And the answer is no. It says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And how is our mind renewed? By the Holy Spirit. We think differently than this world. We think differently than we used to, right? For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. Stay humble in this ministry. But to think soberly according as the Most High hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. We all have a different degree, a different measure, a different level of faith. And thinking soberly goes into keeping the doctrine pure. You know, we don't teach things that are not sound doctrine, all right? If it's not sound doctrine, it shouldn't be coming out of our mouth as the true members of the body of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. Right, we don't all have the same office. There's leaders of the camp, there's brothers who, we all have different gifts, right? Every brother has a different gift. One brother, he might be specialized in prophecy. One brother, well, we all should be in prophecy. But one brother has a knack of knowing the history. One brother has a knack of the breakdowns, can correct other brothers when we go off on breakdowns. One brother might have a gift of tongues, and we have all this in our camp here in Denver. Right? We have some brothers are better in the etymology. We all have, we're all one body, but we're not, our office is different. An office goes into your work, your business. So we, being many, are one body in Hamashiach, and everyone members one of another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. All right? And we're at a level now where, brothers all are going to be prophesying in faith. We're far enough down the line where brothers who are in this ministry, you've been in the ministry, we're not rookies anymore. The majority of the camps, there's new people, but overall, we, for the most part, the men of GMS have been doing this for a little while now. All right, and especially if you came in late, let's say you started going to a camp a year ago, you may barely now be crossing the line, or you may not even be crossing the line yet. But you still got to go to camp. Okay? Verse 7. Our ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence. He that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Okay, and those are all self-explanatory. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. Meaning, hate the bad, love the good. Hate the evil, love the good. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another. Meaning, we should prefer to be, when we have the time with brothers who are like-minded, who are in this ministry, that should be our favorite part of the week, and that's how it is, because when you have a little experience in this ministry, you really, like we read in the first verses in this chapter, you're changing your mindset, right? You're becoming that new man. Your mind is dedicated to this ministry. Your way of thinking, the way you move, the way the way everything changes when you're really a part of this ministry. So in turn, whenever you're around people of the world, you're going to get vexed in your spirit, because just the things these people say, the actions that they show, the things they do, because when you're starting to be purified and you're around a bunch of people that are not purified, it's a vexation of your spirit. All right, it says in verse 11, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, so not slothful in business, meaning you don't take days off, you don't miss camp, you should be meditating on the scriptures, you should be reading. We're in a time of we're getting closer and closer to our day of salvation, so we need to be fervent with this ministry, fervent, on fire, right? You can't be lukewarm, like it talks about in Revelation. If you're lukewarm, the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, can spew you out the mouth, meaning kick you out the ministry. And that's something that we would be very fearful of, right? I'll grab Revelation 3:15. It says, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. See, in the mouth are the prophets. We're the mouth of Yahweh. All right, so you don't want to get spewed out the mouth, meaning you don't want to get kicked out of the ministry because you're not doing your job. You're not doing your part of the ministry, right? You have a responsibility. We have an office. We're doing the Lord's work. It's a business, right? It's like a business. Like if you were working for Esau, and you took so many days off, he's going to get rid of you. It ain't no different with the Most High and doing the Lord's work. If you become cold, guess what? You're out of there. Or if you don't want to become too hot either, meaning you don't want to overdo it. The elders have spoken on this many times, where they talk about men who come into the ministry. They're on fire. They're like blazing hot. They're doing everything, right? Doing 3 videos a day, doing, going to all the camps, doing things for the brothers. And then they burn out and they end up falling out, taking their hand off the plow. You don't want to be that brother either. You got to be fervent, but there's balance to this, okay? Balance to everything when it comes to the ministry and when it comes to life. Romans 12 and 10. No, I read that. Verse 12. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Okay, so, hey, rejoice, because why? We are the hopeful elect. We should rejoice in that thing. And when we go through the fire, when you're brought to a low state, remember, you got to be patient, right? Continuing instant in prayer. All right, let's grab that out of Sirach. I think it's Sirach 2. Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach 2. Let's see. Yeah. It says, Ecclesiasticus 2:4, also known as Sirach, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Alright, so when the Most High humbles you, just be patient. It's not time to panic. It's not time to take your hand off the plow. It's not time to, give it up. No, you got to be patient when we're going through the fire. And why is that? Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way right, and trust in him. Ye that fear Yahweh, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear Yahweh, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Okay? So we got to be patient, even when we're going through the fire. Okay? You got to remember, he chastises the ones that he loves. Tells you that in the book of Hebrews. Verse 13, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Right? The saints, the brotherhood, distributing. Brothers are in need. We should be able to help them if we're able to. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice. And that's talking about out of the Israelites. Bless them that persecute you. Our own people persecute us. Alright? Now there's a time and a place, but we don't need to be sitting there throwing curses all the time on the 2/3. They're already cursed, right? And really we shouldn't even be focused on the 2/3. The scripture speaks about focus on the elect instead, focus on instead of the ones that are going to perish, focus on the ones that are focus on the elect, basically. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. It's in the Apocrypha. I'm just trying to remember what verse and what book. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's see. Okay, maybe I'm not. Let's see. Shit. Oh man. All right, so I can't find it. I don't know where Slovakia. Can't seem to find that verse, and I can't remember exactly how it's worded because I'm trying to type it in Google and it's not coming up. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Verse 15: Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. And that's the brotherhood, right? We're in a time of mourning, so we're mourning together. It tells you that in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. You know, that we're mourning in the midst. Let's grab that real quick. And we're doing this together with the brotherhood, right? We're sharing in the afflictions with our brothers in this ministry. Ezekiel 9:4. And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, which Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay? So we're with the brotherhood. The brotherhood is the ones that are sighing and crying because of all the abominations we're in the middle of here in Babylon, right? Be of the same mind toward one another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. And we just read that, you know, how we have to handle ourselves when we're brought to a low estate. Let me grab that word. Let's see. Okay, I'll grab this. This is condescend. It means to lead away or together, to be carried away with, by a thing so as to experience with others the force of that which carries away. To yield or submit oneself to lowly things, conditions, employments, not to evade their power. Right? So we're in this ministry together. Okay, and remember, when we're going through things, don't forget your brothers are sharing in those same afflictions. You know, brothers are going, even elders are going through the same afflictions as the from the elders on down to the newest member of GMS. We're all sharing in the afflictions. Tells you that in 1 Peter 5:9. Whom resisteth steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Okay? So don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself or throw yourself a pity party. Because you got to understand, it's not just you going through it. You might think it is, but you don't know what every brother's going through. You don't know what the elders are going through behind the scenes. You don't know what the apostles, the bishops, the the leaders of other camps, or even the newest members. Like I said, you don't know. Brothers are going through things, man. This is part of this walk, is to suffer. Part of the walk is to be humbled. Part of the walk is to be afflicted. Okay? So don't sit there and throw yourself a pity party. Remember that you're sharing in those afflictions that are accomplished in our brothers as well. Okay? Romans 12. It says 17, recompense to no man evil for evil, provide things honest in the sight of all men. Right, we should be honest. There ain't no reason to lie. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Right. And it is possible, we don't have to go out there being knuckleheads, being idiots. We can be at peace. It says in the scriptures, even when the man does what's pleasing to the Lord, even his enemies are at peace with him. Let's get that real quick. Proverbs 16:7. When a man's ways please Yahweh, he even makes his enemies to be at peace with him. See? And we've all experienced that, I'm sure. Where your enemies are at peace with you, But you don't forget who they are, though, just because they're at peace with you. You got to understand who you're dealing with, especially when you're dealing with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Because some brothers make the mistake of letting their guard down and, and Esau turn around and bite him like the serpent that he is. Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. So we don't have to worry about getting vengeance on people. The Most High is going to take care of that for us. Like it says, vengeance is mine. Yahweh says that. Let's get that. I think it's in Isaiah. Dang. Let me see. Okay, I was wrong. It's in Deuteronomy. That was way off. Deuteronomy 32 and 35. To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. Okay? So we don't have to worry about taking vengeance on anybody until that time is manifested, right? Until the Lord gives us those spiritual powers. But until that happens, we got to move wise as serpents and harmless as doves, as the scriptures say. Romans 12:20. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. And really, this is talking about the enemy of your people. Right? And you can do it to the heathen. But really, it's talking about the enemy of your people. Because we have enemies that are our people. And those are the 2/3. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Okay? So that's what we do. We overcome the evil with the good, the bad times with the good times, right? And really what it is just staying true to this ministry, making our bodies a living sacrifice, doing our reasonable service, staying on fire but keeping it a nice balance, you know? You don't want to be overly righteous, as the scriptures say. All right? So, I just wanted to get my lesson in. I think that was the whole chapter, so the point's been made. So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ka, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, want to acknowledge Al Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.